back in Denver, Colorado. This is the race for 8. Men's round of 16, and we'll listen for that announcement from Anthony Celesto here.
Your choice, basically.
And it looks to me as if Andy Nett will get that first serve against Abraham Montijo from Tucson, Arizona. Anthony from Winona, Minnesota. Abraham Montijo, Tucson. Anthony Celesto is our referee. Don't have any audio coming through the headset here, so
Andy, you serve first.
I apologize if there's any technical difficulties back home. Abe stays tough right in the middle of that congestion, and Andy just hits the ball behind him and then misses that shot. Andy gives a quick glance back to the referee. Everybody in the building knows that it was a close call. 0-0, another side out. Abraham Montijo back, returning the serve here as Andy Nett has one of the best in the game. Abraham said that his goal is to keep Andy out of the server's box. It's not easy to do. This guy's got one of the best serves in the business. There's a 1-inch high kill shot from Abraham Montijo.
0, play 0. Short.
Yesterday, Abraham
Second serve.
went right through Dave Munson with amazing serves and first strike action. Let's see if he can continue that service game here in the opening round of 16. He's playing Andy Nett. They have a little rivalry going. They played in the first round of the World Championships where Andy just completely dismantled Abraham, but Abe said he's been preparing for him, and there's a nice shot from Montijo.
1, play 0.
Wow, nice shot right there over the top from Abraham, now at 2-0. Both players wearing their World Championship shirts.
2, play 0.
Abraham's first strike has been amazing this tournament. If you're watching at home, you want to improve your game. That style that both Abraham and Andy Nett have, where you put on a great serve and then you pounce on the very first shot. It's called serve and shoot or serve and first strike. Now this is going to be a second serve opportunity. Abraham playing a little bit more safe, but you'll see that Abraham runs over to the ball and tries to hit it immediately. It's a nice dive right there from Montijo. Montijo playing ground and pound style of handball, trying to stay away from the ceiling. Try to go on an inside out slider, gets it, but then he flexes his shoulder as if he strained it just a little bit there. Scores 4-0. Beautiful serve right there from Montijo, who's not afraid to use his left and go low like that right there. Andy digs it out. Montijo makes a miss hit, should be serving at 5-0, hits that ball on the ground. Yesterday we saw Abraham do push-ups after making a miss like that.
0, plays 4.
I don't think we're going to see that today, unless it's really bad. Andy Nett loves serving on these cement walls. And that's a beautiful kill shot from Abraham Montijo as you're watching this live feed in crystal high definition. Crystal clear. That's a short ball.
Second serve.
Abraham Montijo started the season off by saying that he was going to try to get into the Elite 8. He's had some pretty good showings. He's qualified 4 straight tournaments. Nett still trying to get on the scoreboard. It's a good dig right there from Montijo. Andy pounds it again down that right wall, gets that first point now at 1-4. Andy Nett is a multi-sport athlete. Andy wanted that serve right there. Referee called it short.
Second serve.
Abraham is now seeing exactly what everyone has been seeing, and that's that power from Andy Nett.
Play 4.
And when Andy finds his serve, he finds the rest of his game. And you can see much more confidence right now from Andy Nett. And Abraham Montijo knew that that would be an impossible ball to get, so he just went down on his hindquarters there and tried to flip it to the front wall. Score here now at 3-4.
Saw it good. Nice serve. Together at 4. Short.
Now through my headset I can hear the court sounds and the referee, but just not myself.
Play 4.
Score is 5-4.
Second serve.
Both of these players are no strangers to playing against their opponents who hit the ball hard. Andy Nett has some hard hitters up there in the Minnesota area. Steve Kristoff, Matt Heiber, Krauser, and some of those players up there. And of course Abraham going up against Luis Moreno back in Tucson, Arizona.
Second serve. Together at 5. Short ball. Second serve. You guys, I called the score wrong last time. Andy, you have 4. No? Oh, no, I have 5. I'm sorry, I do. I have 5 more. I'm sorry. It's 5-5. Together at 5. No? Yeah, Sean, give me the line, if you don't mind. All right, you're dead. Good enough. We have 2. It's 5-5. Short ball. Second serve. Hold on.
Listen for the referee to call the score here.
5-5.
We're all together at 5 still. Abraham Montijo jumped out to a 4-0 lead, and then Andy came back and tied it, then went ahead. Abraham came back and tied that score. Boy, these rallies are going on and on, a lot of athleticism. You see the crowds starting to pour into the stadium here at the Denver Athletic Club. And they've came in at just a perfect time between Andy Nett, Abraham Montijo. These guys look so evenly matched today. We'll see who has the better conditioning. Abraham Montijo using that left-handed cross-court kill shot away from Andy Nett is going to take that type of precision, but a lot of athleticism. For those that have not played at this type of altitude, it is just unbelievable on your body. It's as if you're in a pressure chamber and they took away at least 50% of the oxygen, and you're just every breath searching for more, and it's just not there. On top of that, these guys are running around on 20 to 30 shot rallies. There's going to be a 60-second break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around for more action here in just a few seconds, actually about 35, 40 seconds or so. We'll be back at racefor8.com. You're watching the WPH Race for 8. We are live in Denver, Colorado. Abraham not happy with Anthony Celesto here. He pushed Andy Nett out of the way, went for that corner kill, actually would have got the point, and then referee called a hinder. And then Abraham does that little sidewinder left corner kill. Those actually feel great when you hit them, and they're very frustrating when you miss, but you have to thread the needle perfectly. Abraham did so. And that's the one thing that has improved from Abraham, and right when I'm right in the middle of talking about it, he misses it, but his left hand has improved. 5 serve 7. And then right after saying how good Abraham's left hand is, the announcer's curse nails him twofold. 6-7. The ball looked like it skidded on the ground even though it was short.
Second serve.
Nice push right there from Montijo. Both of these players came off the court, and it's reported that they're talking about the elevation during that last timeout. We're located, as you can see from this camera angle, up in the far right corner. You can see the green screen that is about where our set is located. But we have a reporter down there who came up and said they were both talking about how they couldn't breathe, and it's not about being in or out of shape. It's just this altitude. It takes a good 30 days to adjust. There was contact, could have been called an avoidable. I don't know if the referee's going to call the contact. It took away Andy's shot, but he doesn't call the avoidable.
Contact, hold up, right away. My bad. That's my fault. No, I'll call it if I see it. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. He said contact him. You're all right.
Abraham didn't see that, so I'm watching what the referee's saying to the players, also trying to hear the referee. And I guess Abraham didn't realize that as soon as Andy touched Abraham, he looked up before taking the shot. Abraham didn't see that. And he was arguing that he took the shot and then called the avoidable, but referee set him straight. Said no, he looked up right when it happened and then took the shot. Andy Nett just hit that ball about 85 miles an hour with the left hand. This is another one of those 30-shot rallies. Referee called a hinder there. Abraham couldn't see it. He wanted to punch it right after the first bounce. Instead, since he couldn't see it, he threw it off the back wall. Andy's going for everything defensive right now. Earlier today, talking to Sean Lenning, who's ranked number 2 right now on tour, said to me that his favorite player is Andy Nett right now in today's game because of his attitude and how he plays, how he goes for it. And that's a nice dive, skinny pass right there from Abraham Montijo. And Abe, when he dove for that ball, he knew he was going to flip it to the backcourt, but he also wanted to clip a wall so it'll come out. And that's exactly what it does. And he gets that side out. You're watching the WPH Race for 8 Tour, stop number 5, Denver, Colorado, the Denver Athletic Club. Referee Anthony Celesto. Abraham Montijo serving against his rival, Andy Nett. Abraham tried to stay down there. It just did not work.
There's nothing you could do. 7 plays 8 over.
Score here is 7-8. Abraham playing Elite 8. Andy Nett quite strong. Andy's been invited to at least 10 pro stops now as an elite player. Almost, yes, he gets the front wall, does Abraham. That's an amazing get. This is one that he does not want to lose. Abraham thought he was going to have to dive, went down to one knee, slid back up. Andy goes for the corner kill and gets it. And No call for a towel. That was a nice left-handed corner kill from Andy Nett. Score here is 8-7. Both of these players breathing pretty hard right now. Mike Park from Pine Top, Arizona says that these guys need to come over to the Pine Top Athletic Club to train at 6,500 feet. They do 3-on-1 sessions there. Don't know what that means, but it sounds like 3 guys versus 1 player. Nice dig right there from Montijo, puts it in a perfect spot. You have to be in shape to play either one of these guys. I mean, you see Andy Nett, he's controlling the traffic right now, but he's pushing Abraham back and forth all around. And when Abraham's controlling the court, he's doing the same thing to Andy Nett. Right now it's Andy in charge. Now Abraham has the advantage. Now they're both neutral.
Nice volley, guys.
That was one of those 30-shot rallies. They're saying 27 shots. It looked like it was 60. Referee says immediately, nice volley, but he doesn't know the definition of the word volley.
Timeout. Abe, that's your first.
There is a
1 minute.
timeout called from Abraham Montijo, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay here at racerate.com.
How you doing today? Good, buddy. Here we go. Yeah, the ball is lively. Guys, here we go. Do we start giving longer timeouts since theirs? All right, play resumed.
Back in Denver, Colorado here for one of the longest starts here of a 25-point match that we've had. 24 minutes into it, nobody scored more than 8 points. When we made the announcement that we would go to 25-point games, a lot of the historians of handball were not happy. But we're all of a sudden starting to see the players and the fans starting to like this format because it is just as competitive or better, because these guys feel like they're right in the middle of a tiebreaker from start to finish. Everything is so intense because every point really does count. We're also seeing these 25-point matches go well over 1 hour in length, which was not the reason, or I should say, really not what we wanted. We wanted to shorten the matches so the fans wouldn't sit through these 2.5-hour marathons. But you're seeing 30 or 40 shot rallies, and a lot of that is a testament to either this format or the blind draw, which is creating some really cool matchups for the viewers at home, here also in stadiums on the tour. Andy Nett has an equipment timeout here. will try to give you scores of some of those other matches on the side courts. At the next timeout, I will make sure to run over and see if I can get a score. Certainly at halftime. Halftime, I'll run out and see what that Dave Munson, Luis Moreno score is on an adjacent court. Earlier today, it was Dave Fink defeating yours truly. We had a 9 o'clock start time. We came down to the club at 8 o'clock. And as expected, Dave Fink, my broadcast partner, defeated yours truly. And he will be playing in the round of 8. The score there was 25-20. There was no hinder there, but the players are playing so close that the referee had to call a safety hinder.
12 plays 8.
And now 13-8.
13 plays 8. Screen hinder.
These guys are both playing so close to each other. That is frustrating right there for Abraham, who he wants to set up. Now, our ref is going to probably scold Andy just a little bit here, but
13 plays 8.
I guess he's not going to. Abraham really wants to lay into that ball, and Andy doesn't even get out of the way. That's like 3 consecutive shots that have either ended with a ball hitting the other player or a screen or a hinder. And that's another reason why we're at the 30-minute mark and haven't even been into halftime yet. The fastest 25-minute match that we've had was 11 minutes in a Luis Moreno, Charlie Shanks match, and the slowest
8 plays 13.
was yesterday's Vincent versus Dan Armijo 1 hour and 27-minute match. And according to Armijo, that match hasn't even ended yet. He's still here wearing his gloves and eye guards, wanting to play the last point. Both of these guys are exhausted. Abraham wants to get a couple more points as they head into halftime, at least get the lead to go into halftime. But if he isn't going to do that, he wants to get up there a little bit closer.
You agree? Both agree.
That ball was short.
Second serve.
And both Abraham and Andy Nett are just crushing the ball in there. When I get back to Tucson, Arizona,
13 plays 9.
I will be playing a 25-point match, money match, against Matt Stamp, USHA Marketing Director. And this is not a bags of sand match. This is a money match.
14 plays 9.
14-9. We'll do that at lunchtime, Matt.
Check the ball, please. 14-9.
Andy Nett 1 point away from going into the halftime with a lead here of 15-9, and he gets it right there. There's going to be a 3-minute break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around. We'll have scores of the other matches going on in just a bit. Stay here at racefor8.com. 9 serves 15. You heard the score there from referee Celesto. It's Abraham Montijo up against Andy Nett. It's going to come down, Dave, to who is going to have the most stamina. It seems to me that Andy's a little bit more sharp than Abraham right now, but these guys have just traded off 40-shot rallies over and over.
You know, Dave, it looks to me like Abraham is really struggling off this back wall. Just doesn't seem like he's getting himself in a good position to execute his right-hand back wall kill shot attempts. And you know, Dave, this is a very difficult back wall to adjust to.
Yeah,
it's a little bit dark and it comes off faster than I think we're used to as players. Abe has to feel pretty good knowing that he's in the match. His last 2 matches against Andy Nett, really he hasn't shown Andy that he's in the match. Here he is, Dave, really pushing Andy around. This really could have gone either way. A late run there from the Dreamboat going into halftime, and he's built a 6-point lead, but it was about a 2 or 3 point difference throughout most of that first half. Andy, Dave, unlike a lot of guys that you see going into halftime, he actually elevated his game going into halftime. He sensed halftime coming on and actually played better, and now he's continuing that.
It's interesting you say that because you weren't here for me to talk to you about that, and I thought, wow, Andy's the first guy I see that is attacking the 15-point timeout with open arms. Everybody else seems to get tentative.
Well, you know, Andy and I played in Alaska, Dave, and he really stepped up his game going into halftime. We were tied at 9. He scored 6 consecutive points to take that lead at halftime. And you know, Dave, going into halftime is a lot like the 2-minute offense in football. A lot of times the team that wins is the team that executes that 2-minute offense the best. And that's how I look at halftime. And you know, Dave, every game comes down to the last 30 seconds.
10 plays 16.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, I'm surprised, and I don't know if you've picked up on this as well, but Andy's serving about 95% of his serves down the left. I don't think he has a great serve down the left. That serve wraps around and gives Abe a right-hand look, and he's not really using that right-hand serve. I saw Andy beat Abe decisively in Ireland, exclusively serving him down the right.
Well, I think you missed early on when Andy got on fire down the right and got at least 6 ace serves on sliders, but then found out that serving over to Abraham's left on that revolving door, that's a weakness in Abraham's game. He revolves high off that revolving door, almost into a fly roundhouse type of return, which is more defensive.
Right.
When Abraham's a little bit tentative, he goes up high. And so Andy's serving that one hook that goes around the revolving door, and Abraham's not putting it down.
So
and here it is again.
Andy's actually trying to give Abe the revolving door.
Yeah, so Abe is then hitting the ball about 4 feet high. Andy wants that.
He looks really good off the back wall here. And of course, Dave, just as I say, hits a ball that pops straight up about 4 inches short.
11 plays 16.
I feel like, Dave, Andy really uses his length to his advantage, particularly on the back wall shots and on the ceiling shots. He's tall and he knows how to extend. See, a lot of tall guys seem a little bit cramped in there, Dave, and they don't get the right spacing to drive the ball.
And you're seeing a lot of these long rallies, Dave, but also ending with a lot of balls hitting the other opponent. Andy Nett plays pretty close to you. I'm not sure if while you were at the NYAC tournament last weekend playing against Andy, which you felt was one of the best guys you faced all season, does it seem like he crowds you a little bit because he's a tall guy and likes to play the middle? He sticks his legs out pretty far when he shoots, and it just seems like he's always kind of in your way. See how he's always sliding across you? And
well, I know I didn't notice that, but, you know, when you have these 35, 40-shot rallies, there's bound to be some congestion at some point during those rallies. I mean, we're not seeing a lot of, you know, 3-shot and 5-shot rallies where there's still separation. We're seeing, you know, these guys banging balls back and forth, grounding and pounding, really both of them in the center of the court, so it's almost inevitable that you're going to have some kind of congestion. You know, Dave, in squash, they play all hinders or avoidables. Imagine if handball was that strategy, how much different this game would be. I mean, we would see a completely different style of play from all these players. Luis Moreno, Dave, did defeat Dave Munson, so he is in the quarterfinals. He'll face Aaron Garner. Those are longtime junior rivals. They've been playing each other since they were 15 years old. Got to be cool, Dave, to face a guy you've been playing since you were 15 in the quarterfinals of a pro draw.
Yeah, that has to be. Yeah, that has to be pretty interesting. I know, unfortunately for Munson, he lost to Luis Moreno just a few minutes ago. But he said that, you know, he defeated Luis and the last time they played, and he said, I think Luis is going to want to get a little bit of revenge here. And I told him, Luis doesn't even know who you are. He might have beat you, but I don't think he remembers you. But I was just joking. Of course, I know that these guys look up to those sort of things here. And I found that out because we travel around with the camera and we throw it in their face and ask them questions. And you find out a whole bunch of things from the players when you ask them personal questions about, you know, who are their favorite players. Earlier I had Sean Lenning on camera. I asked him, who's your favorite player today, you know, back then? And he said, well, my favorite player today is Andy Nett. I like him because he's cool and he goes for it. I mean, he hits the ball hard, and I like that. I respect that. And then off the court, he's not a hard hitter off the court. And then he also said that his favorite player from the past was Marco Chavez. Nice get right there. Abraham Montijo. He said he liked Marco Chavez because that ball hit Abe's foot. That's frustrating. Andy Nett hit that ball so hard, Abe couldn't even move his foot off the floor to get it out of the way.
17 plays 11. Timeout.
You can't call a timeout after the referee calls the score.
Abe asked what the score was. The score wasn't officially called. I knew you were going there, which is why I was ready to pounce.
I heard him say 17 plays 11, which is kind of a weird cadence for a referee to tell a guy the score is 17-11.
Well, Abe was actually asking for the score to determine whether he wanted to take a timeout.
And the referee said 17 plays 11.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of a weird way of saying what the score is. You just say 17-11.
Well,
informally.
at the club, you might say 7-11.
Well, yeah, 7-1.
Yeah.
Who knows? But back to Sean Lenning, he says that he likes Marco Chavez because he's really cool off the court, but also, you know, is an attacker on the court. And off the microphone, off the camera, I said to Sean, you just like really cool guys. And he goes, yeah, I guess so. The guys that are just nice off the court and then, you know, are tough on the court to play. I guess I respect those guys more. And he also closed it off by saying that his favorite player all time is Toddy Severa, saying he feels he's the greatest player of all time. But as we were saying, you find out from these players that they might have played somebody at a youth camp or a clinic from years ago, and they have never played each other since. And then you just start asking questions with the camera and never know what you find out. I know that Matt McLaughlin, who's in the senior tour as the number 3 seed, will be playing against a guy that he went to his youth camp when he said only 9-10 years old, Dave Wolvington. And he was originally set up to play Mark Hammond. Maybe he still is in the draw. And he said that he was a college roommate with Mark Hammond at LFC.
He and Mark Hammond will play each other in the quarterfinals if they both advance.
He said, oh, that's my old roommate from LFC. You know, we haven't played each other since we were in college. So there's a lot of polarizing things that happen at these pro stops. And as reporters, we're so glad to learn them.
Second serve.
I see there's some really good polarization going on between you and I today.
Some really good
polarization.
Oh, yeah. Great chemistry.
Thank goodness our headphones aren't working because I can't hear anything you're saying, which I think is actually a good thing.
Andy went to the pre-dive twice in a row there, Dave. The first time was successful. The second time wasn't.
11 plays 19. Hold on. Hold on. Contact.
To get the draw.
11 plays 19.
Abraham Montijo has 11. Andy Nett 19.
So, Dave, in the 9 through 12 playoffs, Mike Schneider will play the loser of Anthony Celesto and Emmett Pichot. That'll be interesting.
19 plays 12.
Actually, Mike Schneider plays Dave Munson.
No, Dave Munson's not in the playoffs. He was a 13 through 16, and 13 through 16s are not in the playoffs. That sheet is incorrect.
Okay.
There is no 13 to 16 playoff, just a 9 through 12 and a 5 through 8.
Actually, that is incorrect because we do have a 9 through 16 playoff here.
No, that was a format that was used in Alaska, and we voted not to have a 13 to 16 playoff. And the reason you can't have a 13 to 16 playoff with a 9 through 12 playoff is because you'll have guys that played each other in the qualifier final playing each other again. So the 13 through 16s are out. Sorry to have to inform you of that.
Yeah, I need to crash course on that playoff thing.
Well, we've talked about that at length.
Well, I don't usually listen to what you say, but I force you to have to with me.
Unfortunate. And now Andy Nett in cruise control here.
But I would like for you to go downstairs to where the brackets are located and actually go out and cross off that list, because players are going to go to an alternative facility which is 30 minutes away from here to play those matches that you're saying they're not going to be playing. So now you should be leaving the court as soon as possible. And when you come back, make sure to bring me something to drink. You're watching the WPH Race for 8 here in Denver, Colorado at the DAC. My name is Dave Vincent. The exiting Dave Fink is going to go down and work up those playoff draws, which we appreciate. You're watching Abraham Montijo go up against his rival, Andy Nett. Both players very strong, but I believe Abraham has, over the last 3 or 4 months, improved his game more so than any other time. It's been very impressive, even though he is losing to Andy Nett. We'll see if we can get the score from the referee here. Score is 22 to 12 in favor of Andy Nett.
Has he cleaned up his blood yet? He was wiping some. Yeah, he was wiping some blood off.
So we'll make sure to update that score. 22 to 12. This is a 48-minute match. When we spoke to ESPN about trying to get handball on TV, they said we'd like to sync this up to about 47 minutes, because with 47 minutes, you can take 13 minutes worth of commercials and make it an hour-long program. And as you can see, 22 to 12 is pretty darn close. Abraham cut himself diving on the floor here, and so the referee's giving him an injury timeout. Apparently, Andy Nett swiped through Abraham, and his glove, or side of his glove, cut Abraham's skin. And so we're taking an injury timeout to try to stop the bleeding here. And this timeout will benefit Abraham Montijo just a little bit. I don't know if he has enough oomph to get 10 more points to come up and tie, but with these 20 to 40 shot rallies every single time.
Resuming play, we have 22 plays 12.
22 to 12 is the score. That's frustrating. Abraham goes for the kill shot, misses it.
23 plays 12.
Andy Nett now serving at 23-12. Abraham gets the side out. This is the men's round of 16 coming up right after this. Another great matchup as we have John Iglesias, Victor Perez, both from LFC College. I'm surprised that this ball hasn't broke yet. Concrete walls and both of these guys hitting the ball as hard as possible.
23 plays 12. Check the ball, please. Nice get in.
That ball hit
23-12.
Andy Nett. Now he's back in with a clean ball. And that same thing happened. And there's not much else Abraham can do here. Andy Nett's hitting that left side wall. And only thing Abe can do is kind of flatten out his hand, which then allows the ball to slide out with some spin on it. So if it hits the front wall, it cuts. And he's going to have to do it again. And he almost got Andy again on 3 straight shots, all identical.
24 plays 12.
See if Andy goes to the right here. No, he doesn't. He does the same shot. Abraham hits the ball in the vicinity of Andy Nett. And there's a side out.
12 plays 24.
12 serves 24. Abraham's certainly going to feel this match tomorrow. He's still in the playoffs, and he's in the open doubles with young Anthony Sullivan. Just turned 15 years old a couple days ago, and Abraham is going to be one of the top seeds in that state championship doubles with his young counterpart.
12 plays 24.
Abraham's just not going away here. Hits a crack serve. Andy digs it out. And there's another side out.
Possible match point plays 12. Short. Second serve.
You heard the referee call the score. And another side out.
12 plays 24. Short ball.
Short ball and foot fault. Abraham serving second serve here. Nice dig right there from Andy Nett. See what Abe does here. Backs out with his left hand.
Nice change up.
And that's the softest ball Andy has ever hit in his entire life, and he gets a side out. This is his 5th chance now to get that final point.
24 plays 12. Short ball. Second serve.
There's a lot of side outs, but Abraham Montijo's not scoring any points in these side outs. In fact, this is the 6th different side out here. That ball might have gone out in the gallery, and it went into another court. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That ball actually flies in, hits Abraham in the back, who's standing at the service line of one court, and it flies all the way to the service line of another court, and there's at least 20 feet between the two. Don't know if I've ever seen that before.
12 plays 24.
Don't know if I want to see it again. And here is now the 6th chance to take the match for Andy Nett.
24 plays 12.
As we just now enter the 55-minute mark of this match. Andy wants to do it right here. And he's not going to do it. You heard Abraham just say, come on, score one.
12 plays 24. Short ball. Second serve.
Abraham's so frustrated here. This will be a setup for Abraham. He's going to go to the right side. Andy just moseys over there. And there it is, the first time Abraham has scored in 6, 7 or so side outs. 13-24 is the score.
Second serve. Hold on, hinder ball.
That's a good call from the referee. See Abraham talking to himself here.
13 plays 24.
Wow, nice get right there from Nett. And Abraham misses the left corner, and then he reaches down and massages his right quadricep as if it's cramping, and it probably is.
24 plays.
You have to be in shape to play either one of these players. Looked like Andy got hurt more than Abraham did there, and Abraham was the one that was more prone to get injured.
24 plays 13.
This could be it right there. A nice serve from Andy Nett. But Abraham's a fighter. He's just not going away here. But he's also not scoring points. And he's back on the ground. He's not going to give up. And there it is. Andy Nett finally gets Abraham, who's cramping up here on this court. You saw Abraham jump up really quick, and then congratulate the referee, but it is Andy Nett taking down Abraham Montijo. We're going to take a quick break. We have John Iglesias and Victor Perez coming up at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 2 minutes from now, so stick around. We'll have that match in just a bit here at racefor8.com.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are 2 people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care. who will take you just as you are.